Good morning. This is Todd from New Beginnings Ministries in Hillman, Michigan, and it's time for Monday Morning Minute. The other day I was working out in my pole barn, and I was hanging some 4x8, 1-inch thick insulation board on my ceiling. And I was up on a step ladder, and obviously the board is very light, but it's also flimsy. And I didn't have it completely nailed, and all of a sudden I moved and the hammer fell off the top of the ladder, the nails fell off the top of the ladder, and I'm sitting there on top of that ladder holding on to this insulation board, which I had only nailed in one corner, and I was stuck because I knew if I let go of the insulation board it would probably break off the corner that I had nailed. And I'm such a cheapskate that I didn't want to waste a board. So I was stuck, and I was calling out to my wife and yelling and calling. Well, I'm in the pole barn with the big door shut, and she was in the house doing laundry. Needless to say, she couldn't hear me. The more I called out, the more I yelled, the more I screamed, the madder I began to get. I don't know if madder is a word or not, but I got angry because she couldn't hear me. Wasn't her fault. But I'm yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs, and she couldn't hear me. Finally, I just got off the ladder, and before I did, I pulled the board down as slightly as I could, the insulation board, so just a little bit of it snapped off, and I could still use the board. But the problem was, I was yelling and I was screaming, and it was nobody's fault but my own, and my attitude just got worse and worse. You know, the Bible says when we call out to God, He wants to hear from us. He wants to answer us, but He wants our attitude to be right. And in Jeremiah 33:3, He says, "Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things that thou knowest not." He wants to show us wonderful things, but I think He wants our attitude to be right. Because in Proverbs 1:28, He says, "They will call unto me, but I will not hear." So I think we have to be careful that when we're crying out to God, that we're crying out with the right attitude. So I hope this helps. Hope you have a great day, and don't drop your hammer off the ladder. Have a good day.